Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Next Goal Wins, where it's a slightly sombre feeling on this Saturday afternoon. Obviously I've just arrived back from the King Power Stadium, just got home to record this video. Now it's one that's tainted with slight disappointment obviously, and just a bit, I can't really word it, it is disappointment I suppose in general. Now, for those of you who don't know, obviously, the score was 0-0. I'm sure pretty much everyone who watches this video knows what the score is and chooses to watch it depending on the score. Obviously, if we win, it's a lot easier for me to make these videos and a lot easier for you to hear them. But today felt a lot like the back end of last season, and it was the inevitability of it that hurt the most. And for those of you who didn't watch it on stream, who weren't there at the game like myself, we had a lot of chances. Bournemouth, don't get me wrong, now there's no discredit to Bournemouth in this review. I thought Bournemouth were excellent in that first half. I thought they were the first team who've in a long while kind of shown as much work rate as us and shown as much effort. We found it very difficult in the first half to get through their midfield. Their defence looked very solid, and to be honest they had some real massive chances. Josh King had a header from 3-4 yards out, which he really should be burying. Stanislas got down the left-hand side, crossed it in quite nicely. King has to score for me, that header. Also, they had a chance, I think it was Gosling, he got pulled back to on the edge of the area. Gosling's there, he's about, again, 4-5-6 yards out. Blazes it over bar, leans back, poor technique. So, we were lucky to be going in at half-time 0-0. But having said that, we will talk about the chances now that Leicester had to win this game and to get 3 points, which a draw isn't the end of the world, don't get me wrong, we get on 40 points, but I just felt like, as Eddie Howe worded it for Bournemouth, and now I'm going to word it for us, I felt like it was there for the taking today. I felt like it was an opportunity, but, you know, we had the best players on the pitch in that second half. Obviously, if you don't know, they went down to 10 men and we had a penalty, which we missed, but I just felt like it was there for taking today. Now, in the first half, Jamie Vardy had a chance. Now, Leonardo Ulloa I thought was really poor today. I heard someone on my phone in on Radio Leicester on my way home saying he thought people should lay off Ulloa a bit, but I disagree with that profoundly, because I thought Ulloa was poor. He doesn't hold the ball up well. I mean, the reason he's on the pitch is to win headers, but it was a lacklustre attempt to win headers by him today. He didn't win many, and when he did, they were headed just to obscurity and not to anyone in particular. So I think Ulloa had a bad game, but he did have a shot, which was a terrible shot, but it ended up at Jamie Vardy's feet inside the box, and Vardy does really well, turns his man in the box, and then you're thinking, oh, he's just got to put it past Boruc from about 3-4 yards out, and he hits the post. And as soon as that happened, the bloke next to me turns to me and says, we're not going to score today. And I kind of went, yeah, well, you know, and he went, we're not going to score today. Obviously, he was proved right in the end, and I wish he hadn't been, but, I mean, we didn't score in the end, and that was a real opportunity. But a few weeks ago, Vardy's putting in the back of the net. But on days like this, it just, really, to sum it up, it isn't your day. And today wasn't our day. Things didn't go for us, and that was the start of. And Vardy, again, had another chance a bit later on his left foot, went kind of round the keeper, I guess, not really round the keeper, but to the side of the keeper and slide it under the goalkeeper and just missed it at the back post. That was a far more difficult chance, so no blame to him on that one. Now, moving on in the game, we went in half-time. I spoke to people downstairs, obviously, in the turnstile type area about what they thought that we should do in the second half. We all said Ulloa should come off and Dyer should come on. Now that did happen, Dyer came on. I was hoping he'd inject a bit of pace, a bit of energy into the game. Now Dyer for me was poor when he came on, just kept slipping over. I'm not sure if he had his dance floor shoes on from New Year's Eve still, because he was slipping and sliding all over the place and didn't really make too much of an impact on the game. So for me, Dyer had to do more when he came on. But having said that, in the second half we had our biggest opportunity, and a glaring opportunity. In the 57th minute, Jamie Vardy goes through, put through by Danny Drinkwater, good ball, Vardy gets in behind, tackles made, penalty, red card, Bournemouth down to 10 men, and as soon as it happened, me and my dad both said to each other, oh, I didn't look like a penalty. The bloke on the other side of my dad said, no, that is a penalty, and I'm sure they all say that because obviously it's Leicester and you want the decision, but in terms of fairness, obviously I haven't seen it back on Match Video or anything like that, but I do think it wasn't a penalty. I said that at the time. I think it was a great challenge, but as luck may have it, we got the penalty. The referee hadn't given us a decision really to that point, but he gave us that one, the biggest one of the game, and then Riyad Mahrez steps up to take it. And I know it sounds horrible because Mahrez has been so exceptional for us all season, but he was poor today. He was very poor today. Poor, obviously, the last time we played Bournemouth, so maybe they're his bogey team, as Ipswich used to be David Nugent's brilliant team. He always used to do well against them, but maybe Bournemouth's the opposite for Mahrez. But as soon as he stepped up to it, I said to the bloke next to me, I said, bad game. Do you want someone who's taking a penalty who's having a bad game? I mean, he is having a bad game. Maybe he's not all there today. Maybe give it Vardy and it's one to just smash. Now, Mahrez steps up, a step, as he's done in all his penalties in the past. That allows Boruc to come off his line a little bit. Boruc was off his line when he saved the penalty, but I think that's just because of Mahrez's step. Mahrez then goes to the goalkeeper's left. Boruc saves it, stays 0-0, and for Bournemouth fans at least, and I guess for people who don't want Leicester to win, justice was served if it wasn't a penalty. But now we have half an hour to really attack this game and to give everything we can to get a goal into this game, which is 0-0. Bournemouth we know aren't going to attack at all. They've got 10 men. All the attacking is going to come from us, and that was my only disappointment in this whole game, that we didn't score in this half an hour. We had chances, don't get me wrong, we had a few chances. Vardy had one which was tipped round the post. We had kind of a Conte shot, an Okazaki one, and we kept getting close and close and close, but it never eventually came, and the game finished 0-0. Bournemouth very, very happy with the 0-0. Eddie Howe, I'm sure, happy with the 0-0 against us, especially after being down to 10 men for half an hour. Leicester more disappointed with a point, but it does get us to 40 points, so it's not like Burnley last season where we drew with them and then it took us ages to get to 10 points. You know, we're already on 40 points this season, so we can't be complaining too much really about this result. I mean, at the time, I won't lie, I was devastated as a full-time whistle went, and even driving home I was kind of still a bit devastated by the result, because it is now a situation of we are looking at top four, and Arsenal won, they got the 1-0, and all these years Man United used to do it. They'd win games they weren't meant to win. Liverpool in the 80s would win games they weren't meant to win. Leicester should have won this game because we weren't meant to win it in a way. When they had 11 versus 11, I thought Bournemouth were really admirable, and did enough to get a point out of the game, and would be disappointed if they'd have gone home losing this game. But we had the chances to win it. We had a penalty. I don't think teams should ever miss penalties. Obviously, the ratio in terms of the whole world game is 1 in 5. We've missed 1 in 8 this season, so I can't complain too much on that. But if it had stuck in, it would have been brilliant. Mahrez, for me, had a poor game. Just quickly do my player ratings now to end. Schmeichel gets a 6, had nothing really to do. Even the King chance and Matt Gosling one, they weren't saves he had to make. Simpson for me had a good game. I'm going to give Simpson a 7. I thought he dealt with Stanislas well, so Simpson gets a 7 for me. Obviously he went off for Delat later in the game, which I thought was a bit of a strange one. Morgan gets a 7 from me as well. I thought Morgan had another really exceptional game. It's a 6 for Hoof. Nothing he did too wrong, just I think Morgan played better alongside him. Fuchs, I'm going to give a 6 to. I thought his defensive play was very good, but his crossing, he kept crossing it too close to the goalkeeper. He did one really good cross, like driven cross, but his crossing was too erratic. So a 6 for Fuchs. Drinkwater, I'm going to give a 5 to. That might be a bit hated in the comments or whatever, but I'm going to give a 5 to Drinkwater. I think he's been kind of overrated this season because of how well we've done, but it's a 5 for Drinkwater. I thought he gave the ball away too much. But more than that, he's too flimsy in the tackle and doesn't kind of put his body in as much as I'd like him to, or he did earlier in the season at least, when, you know, people were talking about Matt playing for England, which I still think is a bit ludicrous. Alongside him, Conte, I'm going to give a 7 to. Conte again put in a shift like he always does. You know what you're going to get from N'Golo. His passing, however, was slightly astray. Few passes not in the right places, but wins the balls back amazingly well. There was one in the first half. Bournemouth looked through, and Conte's the man who came in to win the tackle. Mahrez, I'm going to give him how harsh do I be? A 4 for Mahrez. He didn't make a real impact on the game at all, apart from missing a penalty, but never looked the danger we all know he can be. Almost it was like his last Bournemouth performance, where he didn't have his best game in the blue and white shirt. Albrighton gets a 6 from me. Good work rate, but again, it's been for the last few games, no end product. So Albrighton gets a 6 from me. Ulloa gets a 3 from me. And that's me being quite kind to Leonardo Ulloa, giving him a 3. He didn't do anything, and I thought he was a headless donkey, really, in this game. Vardy gets a 6. Should have put the chances away that came to him. But again, his impenetrable work rate is so key to the team for just getting up the field and putting the defence under a bit of stress. So a 6 for Vardy. For subs, Dyer, I'm going to give a 4 to. Made no impact, kept slipping over. Not very good from Dyer. I'm going to give Delat a 6, because he got in really good positions, wasn't found as much in that last 10-15 minutes when he came on. And who was our other substitution? Okazaki came on, didn't really make an impact again. I gave him a 6. Held the ball up quite nicely, but never looked like scoring, which we all know Okazaki doesn't now. Now, obviously, the January transfer window is open. Apparently, We're getting Damari Gray, apparently had his medical this morning. I'll do kind of a video once he's signed on him. For me, I still think we need to buy a striker. I think it's urgent. I think Charlie Austin would be a brilliant one to come in, purely because it will take some of the workload off Mahrez and Vardy and not expect them to do as much as they have to do every single game. Get Charlie Austin in, someone of that ilk, someone with Premier League proven experience, so we know we can throw straight in their first game, can play for us and can make an impact. So that's what I think we should do in the January transfer window. Start of 2016 with a draw. We didn't lose to Bournemouth, but we didn't win. Not our finest performance, haven't scored in 3, but Foxes never quit. We're on 40 points. We know we're going to be in next year. And look, at the end of the day, no matter what your result is, you're not Aston Villa. Anyway, please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the game. If you were there or watched it on stream, please like the video as always, because it's Leicester City. And please subscribe so you never miss a video on Next Goal Wins channel. I'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Foxes.